Welcome to the Lotco Business Podcast, a show all about helping you as a retailer, brand, or creative understand the actual business side of running your business. I offer straightforward, practical advice about the nitty-gritty of making money from your creative passion. We will be covering bite-sized business and marketing lessons, as well as interviews with experts and trailblazers in the fashion, homewares, and design industries. My name is Melissa Robbins. I'm a business coach, colour-loving, non-coffee drinking Melburnian. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to today's episode. My name's Melissa Robbins. I am super excited to have you here, and I appreciate your time and your ears and your energy being here and listening to me. I hope I can give you some valuable information, and I hope that you can take away some of this info and really, help you with your product-based business, help you with managing your retail store, help you grow a bigger brand and a more profitable, sustainable product-based business. That is what I'm all about. So let's get into today and sales agents. Talking about sales agents. Now, lots of clients I work with are either retail stores or their brands, and they are looking to, sometimes wholesale their range. So that is one of the areas that I focus on and work on in my business, helping to help brands wholesale better, add wholesale as a strong revenue stream in their business, help it be, one of the different ways that they can sell their product. So in my Transform Your Wholesale program, which is also now inside my roadmap program, which is a full picture program that has wholesale and retail areas in it that I focus on. In there, we talk a little bit about sales agents, but I wanted to dive a bit deeper in here now and just share with you the pros and cons of working with sales agents and how to maximize working with them as well. So that if you are working with an agent already, making sure that you are doing everything you can to allow them to have as much success as possible. And then, the pros and cons are about figuring out whether you should be working with one in the first place or not. So let's get into that. First of all, what is a sales agent? So a sales agent is someone who sells your brand for you to other retail stores so that you don't have to do the selling, essentially. They have maybe multiple brands that they sell, and they sell all year round or seasonal, depends on what your product is and what the agent is. They have sometimes a showroom, a warehouse, or they sometimes go on the road and actually go to clients and retail stores and visit them and showcase their new offerings that they have. They might do trade shows for you. They may, as I said, send things out to reach out to customers, or they may just have their own database of customers already who come and see them. Every agent is slightly different and the way that they work. Some are quite old school and they won't do much digital stuff at all, and they'll do mostly in person. Others are, really doing outreach for you as well and trying to get to as many people as possible. So a sales agent generally takes between, and this is very open to interpretation, so take this with a grain of salt and, speak to other people about this, but they take between 10 and 20%. Some mostly average that I've heard of in the industry is 15%, used to be 10 to 12, now it's 15 to 17, but I've heard up to some people taking 20% of the sales. So anywhere between 10 to 20% commission on your sales. Now, an important factor here is you cannot think about that as per product, same way that you shouldn't think of the wholesale price that you sell to retailers as that you're only getting 50% of that margin. What you need to view sales agents' costs as is an expense in your business. So they're not a cost of good. So don't think of it, I've got to take 20% off the cost of that material that I actually, get for that product. Think of it as an expense. So they are a salesperson, they're staffing expense, they're a marketing expense as well. So they're an expense in your business, not a cost of goods. So get rid of that view that they are taking 10% of your total sales for every product, your cost of goods margin. I know they are taking money. They're definitely getting money for you. But what they bring is they only get money in income when they actually sell. So they're actually doing you a favor by taking that money because they're getting it out to more people. So don't view it as I can't afford to have an agent because they take too much, percentage of my every product that I sell. You've definitely got to, have enough margin in your product to be able to sell wholesale and sell through an agent, or potentially a distributor. And then also you want to make sure that you're viewing their cost as an expense in your business. And most of the time, it's an expense that's giving you a return on that expense because they are giving you sales back. So view the long-term view of that, not just the short-term. They're taking extra 10, 15% of what your sales are. All right, let's get that out of the way. But sales agents can be amazing. They can be fabulous. I know some amazing ones, and I love working with them. I've worked with many over the years. I have had a brand, and I've used agents to sell my product. I've worked with agents in different countries. I have been an agent myself because I've worked for other brands that I have sold. I have been a national sales manager, so I've been on that side of things as well, where I've sold the product without an agent. So I know what the job's like as well. And then I've been a retail store owner, so I have been on the end of buying from agents and using lots of different agents in the products that I buy for my retail store, that I bought for my retail store. So being on all sides of it and knowing lots of different agents, they can be amazing. They can be so good for your business. They can really transform the sales of your business. Sometimes you can have a bad experience with some agents. Not every agent is going to be great, of course, because that's just the nature of all business. But in hindsight now, the agents that I didn't have a good experience with, I can look back now and see it was probably my fault a lot of the time. My sister and I, when we had our brand early on, we were like, oh, why do they need this? Or why is it so annoying that they have to get at this point in time? And again, hindsight and knowing, all the other jobs that I've done since then, I can see that they were just totally trying to do their job and that they were doing a great job. And I should have given them more ways to make it easier for them to work with us as well. We'll get into that towards the end, but let's just talk about the pros and cons. First of all, the pros. One, they are professional salespeople. That is what they do for their job. So they are the best person to be selling your product most of the time because they are actual salespeople. So that is a huge pro that I feel that sometimes can be missed. Number two is they have contacts. They have relationships and contacts with retail stores, with retail buyers. The buyers trust them. They have trust in what the agent is going to show them. So they are such a great asset to you as your brand because the buyers already know them. They already have those contacts. There's no barriers to get into stores because they're already talking to these people. They already have other things that the buyer's buying from them. So they have that trust in them and have that relationship already. So that is huge. They get paid when they make sales. So it's in their best interest to get the sales because they get paid on the commission of the sale. So generally, sometimes there's showroom fees. If you're working internationally, they often have showroom fees or an ongoing monthly fee. But agents in Australia, anyway, generally don't have monthly fees or retainer fees. They just get sales. They just get commission based on the sales. And they only get that commission when the customer has paid for their order. So they only get it when the order's gone through. So that's another factor. So it's in their best interest to sell more and to get more customers and to get the money in as fast as possible. That is in their best interest. So that is what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to sell your product and they want to get it out to more people and they want to get the right stores to, get that money in as soon as possible. That is in their best interest to do. The customers often come to them, so they're not doing lots of outreach. They're actually getting the leads already into them anyway. What else they have? They know their region or area. You might be based in Northeast Queensland and you're trying to sell to WA. The agents know the stores, know the area, know the potential of what stores and what locations are best. You don't know that being in a different geographical area. So that can be a huge benefit as well. They want to see you succeed because the more that they sell, the more that they get paid and the better it is for their retail stores as well. And they want to get into the right retail stores for your brand. So it is, a huge win for them to get out into stores. So they wanted it to be the right store for you and the right fit for your product as well. So there's some pros. I'm sure I've forgotten some, but let's just run with those for now. And let's go into some cons that I think I know of and see as well. Number one is they don't know the product as well as you. That is definitely true, but what you definitely need to do is educate your agent on the features of the product, the benefits of the product, the story behind the product, the supply chain of what timeframes things are happening. The more informed information you can give your agent, the better they'll be able to do their job. They might only sell at particular times of year. They might not sell all year round, depends on what the product is, or if it's fashion, often they'll just sell at a particular showing period or open period, and then they don't sell again for a while. So you might not get ongoing sales that you might want. They have multiple brands. You're not the only brand that they're focused on or servicing. That's not their only source of income. So, you're not the only source of income. So they might sell other brands easier and better. So they're not focusing just on your brand. So that is maybe a con as well. The costs of paying them. Obviously, that is a con that most people focus on, that they just think, well, I've got to pay, out this so much money for using this agent. But the thing is, you probably wouldn't have got that sale if you didn't have that agent. So looking at it that way, the cost, remembering to focus on it as an expense, not a cost of goods. So thinking about, would you have got that sale if it wasn't for that agent? So then viewing it that way as well. The cost of extra samples. Sometimes if you've got multiple agents in multiple places, you've got to get 5 sample sets. So it can cost a lot of money to get extra samples. That's definitely a con. You might not get direct feedback about your range or your product because you're not hearing everything that the customers are telling the agents. So you don't get that direct feedback. What other things? So let me just check. You might have issues with supply chain, or, stopped doing a particular color, but you haven't informed the agent, so they don't know all those things. They're not be able to answer every question that you might be able to as a brand. And I think that's about it that I've got for the cons as well. Hello, lovely. If you're looking for a way to grow your product business without relying on Facebook ads or posting daily on social media, then I invite you to register for my free masterclass. This is happening very, very soon, and inside of this masterclass, I'm sharing the strategy behind building a profitable product-based business so you can attract consistent customers and scale to 6 figures and beyond. I also emphasize how to create a sustainable long-term business, which is such an important factor for me. I'm so excited to be teaching this masterclass soon, so make sure you go and register for your free spot by heading to the link in the show notes below. So, looking at all those things, pros and cons, let's talk about now maximising working with the agents, what you need to do to get everything you possibly can from the agent. One is communicate. You have to have open communication. You always need to let them know, what exactly is going on in terms of when the range is getting released, or time frames of supply chain, what the dates are, if there's any issues with, supply of certain products, if anything's changed in terms of you've got a store or a stockist close by, all of those things. They need to know all those tidbits as well. You need to give them all the marketing materials to make their job easier. So great physical catalogs, postcards, point of sale, things to have in their showings. You've got to make it as easy and simple as possible for them to sell the range as they possibly can to as many people as they can. You need to make sure that you give them samples on time, that they're the right samples, that they're labeled, that they're tags and everything of what is different, or might be, samples sometimes aren't exactly how they are going to be in production. So making sure that you've listed that and labeled that and tagged everything so that you can give them all the information as you possibly can. We struggle with this a little bit when my brand, because we just sometimes didn't get our samples on time. Our critical path wasn't quite sorted, so we just had some delays. So we didn't, get into our agents as much as the time frame that we could or have. Therefore, they couldn't sell the range to everyone because they didn't have it for every showing, which was our bad. So really making sure that you know your critical path, when their due date, when their showing dates are, when the season starts, or when the trade show's on, making sure you know that ahead of time to maximize working with them. They can do a much better job if you give them all the information that they need, you give them the right samples, you give them the right marketing materials, you share with them your vision and your story, or what type of stores you want to be in. So all of those things are really important to make sure that you do before you start working with an agent. Things that you might want to know about agents too, where to find them. I recommend talking to retail stores because they work with lots of agents already, and they'll know some of the ones that they love the best, or that they work with the best, or who have the best sales technique. You can ask other brands who they use. I know we had my sister called up someone when we had a children's brand and asked her who her agent was. She was a little affronted at the time, but now she's been a lifelong friend for 20 years. So, there's ways that you can find out these things without being sneaky about it as well. Just be upfront and ask the conversation, who's an agent. Trade shows are a great source of agents too. You can sort of, see people there as well. Googling, like great fashion agents or looking at other brands and seeing who their agents they use are. If they're non-competing but a similar target market, they could be a great fit for you. Yeah, and just conversations. So talking to stores, talking to other brands, talking to other exhibitors at trade shows and things like that, you can find great agents. And then, starting working with them and seeing how you go, whether it's for a certain time frame or a certain region, testing out how you go. But agents can be an amazing benefit to your wholesale business and wholesale growth because it's in their best interest to sell to as many people as possible. They have the relationships with stores and they can do an amazing job of, getting your brand out and having brand awareness for your brand too. Some of the showings that they do can be amazing setup and stuff like that too. So really viewing the agents as a great benefit for your business, viewing them as a huge, potential for what growth you can have in your business, and looking at the costs that you incur from them as an expense, not as in your cost of goods. So I hope that has helped, and I hope that's given you a little bit of a clearer view of sales agents and how they can help you and where they can help you in your business. If you have any other questions, please feel free to DM me and ask me any more questions about this. I love talking about wholesale, and I've had that many years of experience, as I said, being an agent, working with an agent and using agents for my retail store. So I've got those all sides of it and understand it from all the different perspectives as well. So I hope that's helped. I look forward to sharing more with you in the upcoming weeks, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the Lotco Business Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you subscribe to receive future episodes as they are released. And I'd be so grateful for a review on Apple Podcast. If you would like a copy of the show notes or any of the links mentioned today, please jump onto my website at thelotco.com.au/podcast. Have an amazing week, and I look forward to chatting to you again soon.